Hi, everybody. I'm not seeing, did you admit people? Okay.
I thought I did.
Hey, everybody. Hi, great to see all of you. Thank you for coming today. Um, I'm going to wait 2 minutes. It seems like people need 2 minutes to hop on Zoom. It's wonderful to see everyone. You come in unmuted. Please just stay muted. I mean, you come in muted. Please stay muted. We're going to have a lot of people, hopefully. And I can't wait to show you my book and talk a little bit about the paper year, which is now open for enrollment. Thanks to people who are members and new members, welcome. So if you have any questions at any time, just type them in the chat. I have Lori here who is assisting and monitoring the chat. We're going to start at 2 minutes after. And we've got a lot to cover today. So I'm going to try to just keep a quick pace. This will be recorded and you'll all get the recording. Everyone who signed up will get the recording. Um, it's lovely to see all of you. Thanks for being here. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Let me just tell you that I'm going to do a quick PowerPoint presentation talking about the paper year, which is my membership program. I'll answer any questions. If you have questions at any time, just type them in the chat. And then I'm going to give you a peek into my new book, Weaving with Paper. And I'm going to show you or talk a little bit about pre-sale offers. And then we'll make a book weaving. And hopefully we'll have time at the end to do a quick couple of showings of your book weavings. And if not, or in addition, if you'd like to post on Instagram, I'd love that. You can tag me, Helen Hebert, the paper year, and Weaving with Paper. There are a bunch of links in the chat. If you, I'll be referring to items like where to purchase my book, which you can grab the links in the chat. I will also send those links to you with the recording. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and give this little quick PowerPoint presentation. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Helen Hebert, and I run a papermaking studio high up in Colorado's Rocky Mountains near Vail and Beaver Creek ski resorts in a tiny hamlet called Red Cliff. I drive 20 miles up into the mountains to the studio, which is near the infamous Green Bridge. Okay, sometimes I have this issue. It's not advancing. Hang on. Come on. Okay, there we go. I hold two in-person papermaking masterclasses each summer for those who want to take a deep dive into papermaking and an annual retreat in my studio every August. I've also started hosting a week-long paper retreat in Taos, New Mexico every July. The theme for next year will be to capture the light. Many of you also know me as the author of papermaking and papercraft how-to books. The Art of Papercraft features projects you can make with a single sheet of paper, and Weaving with Paper is now available for pre-order. More on that in a moment. This is the 5th year of the paper year, which I started in January of 2021. This slide shows part of the paper year library, which is a clickable guide into each and every project we've created over the years. We explore a new technique and project every month. You will gain immediate access to the entire library of almost 60 projects when you become a member of the paper year. The paper year is broken into quarters. This slide shows the current quarter, every 3 months, I design 2 projects and I invite a guest artist to design a third project. In addition to gaining skills for working with paper, members enjoy being part of a generous, supportive, friendly paper community. Here's a quick recap of last quarter. We created these reusable book covers in July. Every month, I create video and PDF instructions, which members get access to in an online classroom on the first Monday of the month. So these are pre-recorded videos and PDF instructions. And then participants create their unique variations, choosing their own papers and adapting the structure to fit their ideas and concepts. Members create the projects and share images of their work in a private community on a user-friendly teaching platform called Ruzuku. And it is so inspiring for me and participants alike to see what others are creating. We learn about papers we don't know about, we get ideas for variations on the projects, and we are inspired. We explored woven pillow boxes in May with guest artist Susan Niner Janes. We have a quarterly guest artist who designs a monthly project, and they also attend a Zoom session with us and share how they work with paper. One asset of the Paper Year community is the vast amount of knowledge and experience that exists across the group. This wasn't a Paper Year project, it was something that appeared in the New York Times. And we explored this bloom origami structure in an open studio session on Zoom. And then members continued experimenting and posting their variations in the classroom. We created pop-up samplers in September with a unique accordion book structure that allows for pop-ups to be cut into both sides of the book structure. And this month, which just launched today, the first Monday of the month, we're making paper cut profiles. I love that the projects are open-ended. You can take a photo of yourself or a loved one and create a sculptural form, but the structure also lends itself to framing or could even become the page in a book. Each quarter, we also have a surface design workshop, which is a 2-hour live online workshop. Our most recent workshop was with Nancy Akerley, who taught us how to create 3 different types of flexagons. All Zoom events are recorded and posted for those who cannot attend live. And there are 2 ways to join the Paper Year. All of this is outlined on the registration page, which is a link in the chat, along with a video. And there's a video there too that you can watch, but in brief, PDF subscribers will receive just that, a PDF with instructions for the monthly project. All-in subscribers receive the PDF, video instructions, and a couple of monthly Zoom meetings. At this time of year, you can join and pay by the month, but I do offer an annual payment plan in January, which you can switch to when the time comes, and you'll get 2 months free when you do that. And please note that the Paper Year is a subscription membership, so you'll be billed automatically each month, but you can cancel at any time. And if and when you do cancel, you will lose access to the Paper Year library. And registration is open now through October 12th. All-in plan members meet on Zoom twice a month, which I mentioned, and we often have a special guest at our monthly Zoom meeting, which will either be a guest artist or a paper supplier. Hollanders will be our next guest supplier in December. They're based in Michigan and they carry over 2,000 decorative papers from around the world. We also have 2-hour monthly open studio sessions where members can carve out time to complete the monthly project, spend time getting to know each other, and share paper tips, resources, and talk about other paper-related current events. Here's a peek at what we're doing this quarter. I showed those paper cut profiles. But this is a variation. You don't have to cut a profile of a person, you can cut a profile of an object. And as you can see here, there are a couple of different display options. In November, we'll explore these slit stars with guest artist Catherine Miller from Biopia Press. I'm guessing many of you follow her. Imagine a garland of these draped across your holiday table or hung on your mantle. In November, we'll also have a surface design workshop, and this time I'll be co-teaching this with Beth Kephart, a writer, and we'll do some simple writing exercises about home and incorporate our words into a paper weaving. And in December, we'll build this pop-up tree. I have a thing for paper trees, so we'll probably make a few different kinds. We are a friendly bunch, and the Paper Year is a welcoming community for all. We're a diverse group in how we come to paper. We have different lifestyles. We are crafters and working artists. Some of us juggle parenting, others juggle full-time jobs, and this amazing material, paper, ties us together. So that's the Paper Year in a nutshell. Please visit the link in the chat to watch my video trailer, read more, and hopefully join us. Okay, I'm going to take questions in a moment. Let me, while I'm sharing my screen, I just want to show you a couple other things here. So I have to stop and then reshare. So I'm going to show you a physical copy of my book, but I just wanted to show you the sales page here. So this is what you'll find. And thank you for those who have already ordered a copy. I just wanted to show you that you can order a copy of the book today. The first 50 orders receive a special weaving tool. I'm going to show you it in person in a moment, but this is a really cool German weaving tool. And then there's an option to purchase a pack of papers that I'm putting together. I have a large stash of paper and every kit will look different. So you have the option to do that as well. And then I will sign copies that you order from me. And if you order 2 or more copies, you get a 15% discount. And I do not actually have copies yet. They will be in the warehouse in October sometime, and I will get them in time to ship to you by pub date, which is December 16th. So that is when the publisher guarantees they'll be in stores, and I can ship them to you by that date. So I'm holding all of your orders and we'll ship them to arrive between the 16th and the holidays. Now, there's a note here about international shipping, which is outrageous, but this book is published by one of the big 5 publishers, Hachette. You should be able to get it through your local bookstore. So please ask your bookstore to carry it. They might not know about it, but I'll bet they hopefully order other books from Hachette. So just adding this book to their order would be easy. And other than that, I would recommend Amazon in your country if you're from another country. And I encourage you to support local independent bookstores. So whether you purchase from me or through your bookstore, yeah, I just want to get the book out there. Okay, so you'll see you can choose to order the book only or the book and the paper kit. The paper kit does come with the weaving tool as well. And so you would just click on whichever you want and then click add to cart. And then you go up here. This is most normal on most websites, but up in the right-hand corner, you'll see there's one item in my cart. So you click on that and there is my order. And then you'll just go to proceed to checkout to complete your order. Okay, I just want to show you 2 other web pages. So when you place an order, you'll get invited to my Weaving with Paper book launch, which will happen on Pub Day, December 16th. And you don't have to order a copy of the book to come to this, but we'll be making a woven paper lantern, which you see pictured here on the right. And I'll have some fun giveaways at that book launch party as well. And then many of you know about my online class called Weave Through Winter. I just wanted to point it out here. That will happen during the month of February. And this book is actually based on that class. Okay, so now to the book. Do we have any questions?
I don't
Is
see
it
any in the chat.
okay? All right. Well, type anything into the chat if you do have a question. And otherwise, let me show you the book. So switch to my hands, Lori. Okay, here it is. And I only have 2 copies of the book. That's all I have right now. And it's beautiful. I'm really happy. So I want to show you, if you order one of those first 50 copies, the weaving tool is going to be taped on the spine. So this is the weaving tool. And then I want to just show you the weaving tool in action. So it is a metal tool with a pinch mechanism. You can pinch it open and closed, and you can pre-thread it. I wouldn't actually use it for this weaving we're going to do today, but it works well for a lot of different weavings. And so you grab your strip and then you can pull it through and into place. And I found out about these from a German woman who took my first Weave Through Winter online class. So again, it'll be taped to the spine, or if you buy the paper kit, so here's the paper kit, it'll be taped on the outside. It's an easy tool to lose. So I just want to show you, or to maybe not see. So I just wanted to show you that. All right, so here's, yep.
There's a question about
Uh-huh.
Weave Through Winter versus the book. Will it be the same projects in Weave Through Winter as are in the book?
I haven't decided 100%. I think I might do the same prompts, but that are in the book. But there's so many ways to do each weaving. So I think you should do both. So that's my answer right now. And more info on Weave Through Winter will come. It opens for registration in January. Okay, so here's another question.
Is it possible to request a color palette of the papers? I ordered it in the past and would like to have additional colors.
So I assume you're talking about the paper kit, and they're all going to be different. So there's no way I can tell you what you're going to get. I have so many decorative papers in my stash, and I will just be making packs. So I don't think it'll be the same as whatever you got before. Okay,
And
and Lori has just posted the link again. I saw there was a question.
yeah.
So the link on where to order the book is in the chat. And I'll be sending this recording to everyone with that link as well. Okay. So here's the book.
Helen?
Yep. Mhm.
So I'm just now looking at this. I see is it the Weaving with Paper
I
book
don't have it.
launch? Is it that?
Okay, maybe I don't have, well, Weaving with Paper.
So,
Weaving with Paper, it's the third link
so
down.
sorry. Yes, the third one
Yep.
down. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
I'm talking about a lot of things today. So if you didn't get the supply list for today's Zoom, you should have, but it's the first link. The paper year is the second link, and the book is the third link. Okay, so this book is divided into several chapters. The first chapter talks about the history of paper weaving. This is my ideas. I think basket weaving and cloth weaving are the origin of paper weaving. So there's a little bit about Friedrich Froebel, who taught teachers how to teach paper weaving in the 1700s. There's some old Hans Christian Andersen art in hand weavings, lots of interesting history. And then tools and materials. Of course, I talk about paper. Lots of examples scattered throughout the book. Um, a lot of the materials you need for paper weaving, you already have. You can dig through your recycling and your junk mail and find really interesting papers. The tools are not prohibitively expensive. There aren't that many that you need. And then I have a little basic section on just simple. I like to start with strip weaving. So there are many, many ways to weave strips. Here's an example of just straight strips, curvy strips, using different kinds of scissors, deckled scissors, diagonals, uh, and you can come up with your own methods. Talk about the weaving tool. And then the next chapter, I mentioned this class is based on, this book is based on my class Weave Through Winter, which I've done 7 times. And we create a daily practice in that class, and we do 30 weavings over 30 days. And just being accountable to everyone in the class and weaving for 30 days has a lot of benefits. I talk about the benefits. You've probably heard of the 100-day challenge. There's lots of 30-day challenges. Um, and I talk about an intermittent daily practice. I actually don't have a daily practice except during Weave Through Winter. And there's advantages to that too, every year having that daily practice. And then we get to the bulk of the book, which is your paper weaving journey. And there's a little bit of intro. And then these are the 30 weavings that you learn how to do in the book. And they each have a prompt. So if you choose, you can weave to the prompt. So recycle, you can use recycled papers. The prompts are also general. So roots. In this project, I wove a baby picture of myself and a map of where I was born and grew up, Texas. But roots could refer to the roots in a plant. So all of the prompts are meant to be open-ended. I was just going to show you the layout of each project. So this is project number 7. The prompt is landscape. And so there's the technique. And so all 30 projects have a different technique. This one is weave into part of the warp. So you're just weaving part of the paper. And then the materials, a little bit of about the project. And then there's these little thumbnails which show you how the paper is cut. As you start to learn about paper weaving, I think these are helpful as a kind of a map of how the weaving was done, instructions, how and step-by-step pictures. And then there's 2 examples of each weaving done by people who have participated in Weave Through Winter. Okay, and then I just wanted to show you as we get toward the end of the project. So this is 27. They sort of start out simpler and then get more complex. So this weaving, it has 3 parts. That's why I call it modular. And I'm going to show you this window cutting technique on our weaving today. But I did it into the 2 different papers, so it looks different. And then this is a different kind of weaving. So there are just so many different ways to weave paper. And then this one, we're only cutting slits in certain areas to weave the strips through. You can cut these angled shapes. There's so many ways to cut paper. And then I end up with the triaxial, which is really challenging, but hopefully I've written good instructions. It took me a long time to get up the courage to attempt the triaxial, but it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you learn how to do it, you can get back to it quickly. And then at the end of the book, there are 3 projects. One is a woven note card, and you could use any of the 30 project techniques to create the cover of your note card. There is this fun reverse piano hinge album, which actually has a woven hinge. So, and then you can display your weavings in that project. There's an example by Christy Galbraith, who took Weave Through Winter. And then there's a woven paper lantern project. So these windows that I show how to cut allow light to come through the paper. And then there's a gallery, and I feature 8 different artists who work in quite different ways weaving paper. And weaving paper has become really popular over the years. And if you search for paper weaving on Instagram, you'll find lots and lots of examples. There's a glossary. I had to make up some words because paper weaving hasn't really been documented that long. Some of them coincide with the terms from cloth weaving, but other ones are specific to paper weaving. Resources, specialty suppliers, suggested reading. And then I work with Story Publishing. A lot of how-to books do not have an index, but Story is great. They always create an index. Well, this is an image list, actually, information about the images, and then the list of artists, acknowledgements, and here's the index. So that's the book in a nutshell. And again, the link is in the chat. Pre-orders are available today. And if you're going to order from me, please order by, if you can, by December 1st. And then I'm going to place a big order with my publisher so that I can get those books to you before the holidays. Okay, any questions? Not seeing
Not
any.
seeing any.
Okay.
No, I think that's it.
Okay, so we're gonna make a book weaving. And this is the example you saw. I just thought it looked fun to put in a book. So the picture I was showing was just my weaving in this book. And of course, it's a book about paper. It's a great book about all the uses of paper through history by Mark Kurlansky. So, okay, so you should have 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 letter size paper and scissors, X-Acto, pencil, some glue, and a brush or a glue applicator. I'm going to use this glue applicator. And then a piece of plastic. We'll get to this at the end. But this is just from a plastic cutting mat. So it's flexible. And I'm going to cut it into a shape so that I can slip it between my woven sections. I have an eraser as well and a ruler, and then I'm working on a cutting mat. Okay. So let's take, and if you have questions as we go along, type them in the chat, please. So let's take our 2 sheets. I'm going to stack them together and I'm going to fold them in half. So if you have a front or a back, you want the front of your weaving up, face up on both papers. Mine has a little texture. It's actually on both sides. I'm going to make this the front. And then this is a paste paper I made. I made this in a paper year surface design workshop. So I'm going to jog those together and I'm going to fold them in half, short side to short side. I think I said to use a magazine weight. Mine are a little heavier than that, but your paper should fold just fine. If you needed to score and fold, that's okay. But I'm going to cut these at the same time. So I want one nested in the other. It doesn't really matter which. And now we're going to take a pencil and draw a shape that is going to be our book shape. So, and it's the book shape folded in half. I have too many things here now. Let me find that. Here it is. Okay. So when my book weaving is folded in half, this is the shape. So you could just do this and leave this like this, but I think it's kind of fun to have this shape. So I'm just gonna draw a shape that looks like a folded 3-dimensional book page. And then I'm gonna cut that out. And you can use an X-Acto or scissors. This is a straight line, so I'm gonna cut that line straight. Oh, and the fold is over here, right? Obviously, at the spine. So make sure you cut the correct way. So this will all be, you'll get 2 sheets and not 4 sheets. I'm cutting through several layers. I'm gonna just reinforce that. And then I'm gonna just hold this and cut with scissors along my pencil line. Now this pencil line is going to be the back of my weaving. So I'm not gonna worry too much about it being on there, but you could erase it if you want. Okay, so now I've got 2 of these. Now this is one way to do a shaped weaving. And we're also doing we're gonna have a partial warp because we are not going to cut our base paper. This one's gonna be my base and this will be my paper that I weave in. So this will be my warp and this will be my weft. We're not gonna cut the warp completely apart. And that just makes it a little easier when you're weaving. You don't have tons of pieces all over the place. Okay. So this is being recorded. I'm going to keep moving along because we have several steps. And I know I wrote myself a list. Here we go. Yes. Okay, so now we're going to take our base. So the blue paper is my base. It doesn't really matter which one, but you might have one in mind that you want to use. And I can see my fold line, and I am going to make a faint pencil line 1/2 inch to either side of that fold line. So if you have a mat, a cutting mat that has markings on it, so this would be about 1 centimeter. It's not critical, half an inch or 1 centimeter. You can set that fold on one line and then just go 1/2 inch to either side. Just draw a faint line. We will erase that. And then if you don't have a mat, you could just take your ruler and make a mark in 2 places. And then take your ruler and draw that line. So again, this is going to be our warp. I'm going to write on mine. You don't need to do that. But if you want to, you can. I like to, this is a model. And maybe it's going to look great and it'll be an actual piece, but maybe you'll make it again later. And so now I'm going to cut slits into my warp, and I am not going to cut into this 1-inch section in the middle. I'm going to use that line as a guide. I'm going to cut out from there, and I'm going to cut about 5 lines. So if you want to draw them first, you can. Just watch me do this. I'm going to come about 1 inch down. I'm going to start a little bit to the left of my line, and I'm going to cut 5 slits. And they don't have to match exactly. They could even be straight. So the weaving's going to look interesting just because it's a weaving. So see, I've got those slits. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side using this line. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn it upside down. They do not have to line up. They do not have to match. So now I've got this. So this is much simpler to control than if I had cut all the way through. Now I could do a weaving like that where I cut all the way through. And after you've cut your slits, you can erase carefully. You don't want to tear any of those cuts. You can erase your guideline because you're done with that. Okay, and now I'm going to move right along, and I'm going to take my weft piece. So I call this the weft piece, and I need to remove that 1-inch center on my weft piece. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to draw a 1/2 inch. And well, I'm going to draw it. You could just cut it, but let me just pre-draw it. So I'm going to draw those 2 lines, a 1/2 inch to either side of the fold. And then I'm going to cut, and I'm going to have 2 pieces, and I don't need that piece in the middle. And what we're doing is we're creating puzzle pieces now that we're going to weave our pieces together like a puzzle. Okay, so I've got these 3 pieces. I don't need this piece, but I always hang on to pieces because this will fit right in the middle here. Maybe I'll decide I want to collage it back in, or I can use it in another weaving. So now you kind of see where we're going. These are going to weave in, but we're going to cut these into strips. Now, I didn't even pre-think this, but I'm seeing I have some lines here. I could cut right along those lines. And this is a technique of cutting along lines that exist in your paper. It makes the puzzle pieces fit even better and visually hold together. So we're just going to take the right-hand side, set that left-hand side of your book away somewhere. Just take this right-hand piece and just remember this is going to weave into right here. And I'm going to cut this into About 4 pieces. It doesn't matter how many pieces it is. Done with my ruler. I like to use my knife. You could use scissors. So I'm going to start, because I have these lines, I'm going to cut right on them for these first 2, and then I'm going to decide. So I've got 1, 2. Now you want to keep these in order, because so they don't have to be straight. They could be. And now this one, I don't really have an obvious line. I'm just going to make a wiggly shape here. Okay. So I want to keep these in order because they won't fit together any other way than this because of the way I've cut those strips. See, these are weft strips now that were cut out of the weft piece. And I'm going to weave into my warp slits. Okay, so I am only going to do this piece. I'm going to weave this, I'm going to glue, and then I'm going to go to the next side. So if you're fast, you'll see what I'm doing here, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to start with my leftmost piece, which goes here. And because I have the slits cut all the way to the end, I can weave in from the side. A lot of weaving, you weave, this way, but I've got this side wide open, so I can just slip this in and I can lift those, and it's just under, over, under, over, under, over. If you started out over, under, that's totally fine. Does not matter. I like to use the tip of my X-Acto to push my piece in, and it'll line up the top and bottom edges. And if anything doesn't line up, you can trim it later. So I'm just going to continue weaving. Now the next piece is going to be over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. And I'm going to slip that in, push it as far as I can. Now this will depend on your paper's thickness. Sometimes you have a little bit of take up. So there's a tiny little space there, and that's okay. And then I'm going to continue to weave the last 2. Sometimes I use my knife as a lifting tool, under, over, under, over. And then the last piece will go in. And because of that take up, the little space in between, this piece is a little bit longer, but visually I think that looks nice. I have a little extra paper showing. But after I glue, I could trim that off if I want to. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a moment to catch up. If you have any questions, type them in the chat. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is glue. So I'm going to go ahead because we're going to do the same thing again over here. So if you're behind, you'll see me do all these things again. This is a glue applicator that I love. It's from the Lamp Shop. There are lots of these, though, available online. Some have metal tips, some have plastic. And I am going to, now you might want a little piece of scrap paper to put underneath, just in case. And whether you have glue and a brush or an applicator, I'm just going to put glue on all of the sections that are up. So that's both papers, right? So some of the weft and some of the warp. I'm just going to start here with I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. So just a light coat. In the book, I show how lots of details about how I glue and why I just glue the edge. And then I'm going to stick that down. And so I'm going to have edges to glue on the 3 sides. And then I'm going to have some on the back as well. So I'm just going to quickly go around. Now you can put glue all over, but I like to glue just the edge because I might want to cut windows later. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know. If you don't, you'll learn in the book. I am going to cut some windows, but I'm not going to cut them on the edge of this one. But I also really want the edges of the weaving stuck down. I wouldn't want to have glue just in the center and the edges loose. So now I'm going to go here and do the outermost edge. And then here. If my scrap paper gets really gluey, I would change it out. Okay, and then I've got the ones at the top. I think I said you could use a glue stick too. That's fine. You have a glue stick. Okay, and then don't forget the back because there are loose pieces on the back. And you'll notice the pieces you're gluing on the back are the opposite of what you glued on the front, because the warp and weft on the front are the opposite of the warp and weft on the back. Which ones are vertical and which, well, the weft is all vertical, but the way that they appear. Okay, mine are all lining up pretty well. Hopefully yours are too. But again, you could do final trimming at the end. It's just paper. Okay, so I'm going to quickly weave the other side. So now I've got this piece that will weave in here. And I'll cut it over here so this will go here. And I have a similar thing with the lines. So I'll cut this into 4 strips. Now, by the way, the number of strips is optional too. You don't have to cut, and I have a line here, a certain number. There's lots of variables in paper weaving. Okay, so this shape is different. And then this one I wove under over. I'm going to do the same thing, but you could alternate and have this one be over under. Lots of decisions to make too. I'm going to do this quickly just for the sake of time so I can show you this window cutting technique. Okay, I'll get my last piece. Now on this one, just so I can move on to cutting windows, in case some of you have to leave right at the top of the hour, I'm just going to glue along this edge. I'm not going to worry about the top and bottom. I can come back, but if I glue this edge, it's going to hold things in so that my strips don't fall out. So same thing, just going to glue right on the outer edge of the end of each strip. I'm going to go ahead and flip that over, do the same thing on the back. Okay. Okay, so now hopefully you all have at least one side done, woven. And now I'm going to show you the cutting windows. And this is something I developed because I was making a lamp years ago, and I wanted the light to come through. And when you have, I have this same two layers of paper here and here. They just look different now. But when you illuminate, the light has to come through both layers, and it really just blended the papers and didn't do anything else. So I thought, what if I cut a little window to reveal? And now it's going to reveal the paper underneath, but light is not going to do anything for this particular scenario because these are not translucent papers. Anyways, so this is a plastic placemat. And I mentioned a couple of different things. Yogurt container would work for this. Any kind of plastic container in your recycling. And I don't need a huge piece. I'm going to cut this to maybe 4 or 5 inches. And then I'm going to cut it again. I want it to be skinny at one end and wider at the other end. And I'm going to use this as a mini cutting mat. You'll see in just a moment. So I like to curve the edges. And for different weavings, you might need different sizes of these. This might be too wide for a particular weaving. But now what I can do, and I am just going to, let me show you where we're going. So here's my other, I'm just going to cut one line of windows. You could cut them all over the place, but for the sake of time, I am going to slip this underneath a woven section. So these are all woven sections, the checkerboard of the weaving. And now that's a cutting mat. I can cut against it, and I'm going to cut a window Now, I like to just cut following the lines of the woven section, but you can cut shaped windows. So I'm just going to remove this piece, and look what that does. It reveals more of the paper that's underneath. And then you can do that all in one paper, or now look, this is too fat to go in that way. Or you can cut windows in both papers. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to trim this a little more. So I am just giving you a taste of cutting windows. There are lots of variations, and several of the projects in the book show you how to do different things. Okay, so now I'm seeing the blue. And then I'll go in here. And these, sometimes you could use these little pieces for something later, collage. So I'm going to just work my way across here and cut a couple more windows. And then that's my demo. I can stay on a little bit longer if people want to share. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them now about the book, ordering the book, the paper year. Oh, I did want to say, if you want to order and have the book shipped to someone else as a gift, you can do that. If you want several copies, I would place separate orders if you want them shipped different places. Or you can order several and then gift them yourself or ship them yourself in one order. Okay, so that just adds a little something. And you know, lots of different possibilities in terms of pattern papers, plain papers. Two plain papers, the windows would have been more dramatic. I've got that pattern, but you start to see the pattern connecting through the windows. So there's lots of possibilities. Okay, Susan's putting the book on her Christmas list. Yay. And Jane says, if you want to do a more straight traditional fold instead of the curved book, do you cut all the way through to the edge of the paper? Yes. So you mean, I mean, there's multiple ways to do this, okay? This is not like there's only one way. But like you would have your paper folded. You could actually cut both at the same time too. So you would cut through the edge. Yep. And then you would cut your weft pieces just the width from the cut over to the edge. So lots of variations and possibilities. Okay, we made it. I hope you guys got something done. And Linda, okay, I hope your governor has something good to say. She says her governor's about to speak. If anybody wants to share what they made, I'd love to see. And you could raise your hand under the reactions. There at the very bottom, there's a raise hand icon. If you click on that, Lori will call on you to share and we'll spotlight you. Does
Okay,
anybody want to share?
Sarah Barton.
Okay.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Helen.
Look, oh,
So
beautiful.
fun.
Yeah, it looks lovely
Great
in the
fun.
book.
I
Thank
did
you.
weaving with you before. I haven't done it since, and I'm just renewed in it and thinking I'm going to have your book.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Stritzinger, hold on. Wait, John Stritzinger disappeared. Sorry, did you want to
I
share?
see you. Wait, I see him. Here we go.
Okay,
I got him.
okay,
Put a
yeah.
book
Oh,
online.
look at that.
I used 2 photographs that I do photography, and I did a 20-piece project last year on doing weaving, and I'm really excited. I love weaving. My sister weaves up in Vermont. She's a traditional weaver, and does
Okay.
things. So
Look at the mishmash of the images is really great in that.
yeah, it was 2 that I had, and so very different than what you have, but it was fun. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you. You did a
All
great
right. Thanks, John.
Anybody else? I'm not seeing.
Okay.
Jane has 2 comments.
Yeah, I see that, Jane. You ended up with too much paper to slot in the strips. So you could trim at the edge. I don't know, maybe you didn't remove that middle section. It's hard without seeing it. But you had to remove that center section so that your pieces, the weft piece you started with was the right size once you cut it into strips. Okay. Anybody else?
Sedella would like to share.
Okay. Oops,
Oh.
you just
Sorry.
you were probably trying to unmute yourself and there you
Okay.
go.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I see it. Beautiful. Look at that fun marbled paper and the blue. Wonderful. Thank you. And I see a couple of
Okay.
windows.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Leslie.
Hi, Leslie. Ooh, that looks great.
Hi. I used a kind of fancy paper and a more organic paper.
Yeah,
Together.
looks
And I just kind
wonderful.
of randomly cut windows.
Yeah, looks good. Thank you for sharing.
Okay. And Paula Krieg.
Hey, Paula. You're muted. Oh, look at you. You have some interesting shaped strips that end in points. Nice.
I want to go in and color in a lot in the yellow part.
Yeah. And your
Maybe some
windows, you played
something.
around with some different shaped windows. Nice.
Nice.
Contrast. I
Have
talk a
fun,
lot
Jen.
about choosing papers in the book because you got really good contrast. Thank you.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else? Okay. All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for sharing an hour with me. Yeah, I'll send the follow-up. I'll send you the recording and please tell your friends who might be interested in weaving with paper all about the book. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Hope you can come to the book pub day party on December 16th. We'll make a woven paper lantern. Thank you.